Pyramids of Giza are representing for us the only wonder of the seven wonders of the ancient world still surviving. 3 pyramids for 3 pharaohs. The Egyptian did not call it Sphinx. The Egyptian called it Sheseb Ankh, which means the living image, because they believe he represents the king, who is in fact the shadow of the God on earth. Luxor was the main capital of Egypt at the time of the New Kingdom, about 1500 BC until 1000 BC. We are looking at the most important treasures in all of the history of Egypt, the Pyramids of Giza. The Pyramids of Giza are representing for us the only wonder of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still surviving. 3 pyramids for 3 pharaohs. Khufu, the builder of the Great Pyramid, then his son Khafra in the middle, and then Menkaura, the grandson at the end. The Egyptian philosophy to build the pyramid is to say the pyramid is the eternal house or the last resting place. They started to build the pyramids as soon as the king comes to power. The 3 of them dates back to the 4th dynasty, 2500 BC. At that time, the main capital was Memphis and the city of the dead was here. That's why this area they call it Necropolis. All means we know that the Great Pyramid took about 20 years to build, more than 40,000 people to build it, and at the same time it was administration to control the work, and it was done by servants. Some of people carry the stone, some people make the carving, some people design the angles, because that was a kind of a national achievement. The Great Pyramid has more than 2.5 million blocks of limestone. Some of them are 2 tons, some of them are 15 tons. They have also some pieces of granite to use them for some line on the bottom and some also granite blocks inside. Unfortunately, the 3 pyramids are empty. The mummies are not there, the treasures are not there. The surprise is the Great Pyramid, there is only 1 statue was found near Luxor. It's now in the Egyptian Museum. Smallest statue like this big, 10 centimeters, made of ivory. If you compare between King Tut is winning because they left about 5,000 pieces. But we still hope to find treasures of King Cheops either inside the pyramid or somewhere else. The Sphinx, as you can notice, was carved out of the rock because it was a big stone made of limestone. It's about 72 meters long, 22 meters high. And it has supposed to be the beard and the cobra on the forehead. The Sphinx representing the same king of the second pyramid, Khephren, or we call him in hieroglyphic Khafra. Our Sphinx is a male. The Greek Sphinx is a female. The Egyptian did not call it Sphinx. The Egyptian called it Sheseb Ankh, which means the living image, because they believe he represents the king, who is in fact the shadow of the God on earth. And they said also he looked toward east, protecting the cemetery with the coming of the rising sun. Generally speaking, Luxor is a very important city for archaeologists, tourists, and history because it was the main capital of Egypt at the time of the New Kingdom, about 1500 BC until 1000 BC. At that time, they call it Thebes, the land of 100 gates. They divided the city by the Nile into two parts, East Bank and West Bank. The East Bank, there were two temples, Karnak and Luxor Temple, religious center for the god Amun-Ra, the god of the sun. The Egyptian believed that the sun starts from the east with life, the sun set on the west for death, where we have Valley of the Kings and Queens and other places for eternity, as we call it. Karnak Temple covers about 62 acres. It was mainly the religious center for the god Amun-Ra. Amun-Ra was the god of the sun. The area of Karnak has so many parts like entrance, columns, sacred lake, statues, shrines, writing, details, lots of painting. Because every pharaoh said, I have the honor to do something for the god. That's why we hear about famous names like the unforgettable one of Ramses II, the Queen Hatshepsut, King Tutankhamun, King Hormuheb, King Tutmosis. And interesting to know, Karnak was mainly built within 2,000 years, from the Middle Kingdom until the New Kingdom. They kept adding more and more to the site. Incredible spot is what we call it Hypostyle Hall, where it has 134 columns. It has also secret lake for purification, side rooms for the religion, and they never give any kind of human sacrifice. Vegetables, wine, necklaces. They recorded that there were 80,000 people working in the temple of Karnak. Some of them were workers, engineers, craftsmen, priests, high priests. We don't mention slaves. It was a kind of servants working for the god. Every servant must have the honor to say, I did some work to carry the stone for the temple. I did some work to make the carving, make the painting, build the roof, provide the doors, carry the offering, greet the pharaoh when he goes from one place to another. So by all means, Karnak is a religious center. Even that's why they call it Karnak the Magnificent. Imagine that they say, Karnak temple, the house for Amun. Luxor temple, the house for his wife. They used to make a ceremony between the two temples. Statues, boats, shrines, to meet together and have the honeymoon between the god and his wife. About 2 miles south of Karnak, the temple of Luxor, which is interesting because it has more additions. Like there is a temple for the pharaohs, Ramses, Amenhotep III, Tutankhamun, Hormoheb. Then we have also a part of the Greek shrine. We have a part of the Roman part where the Corinthian capitals of the columns are. And we have remains of a Christian church or a Coptic church. Luxor temple was mainly half of it hidden under the sand. At early 1300 AD, one Muslim leader came from Iraq. His name is Abu al-Hajjaj. He lived in the city, gave people a good presentation of Islam. People liked him very much. He was a moderate, nice person. When he died, they put his body to be buried inside a part of the temple above it, and they created a mosque over there. Luxor temple, I can believe to say they have the whole history of Egypt in one place. Pharaonic, Greek, Roman, Christian, and Islamic. This is the whole history of Egypt. The people are friendly people, and people, if you sit with Egyptian for 10 minutes, he will talk to you about your family and his family, his neighbor, tell you some jokes about his food, his culture, his kids. If he has a cat or a dog, and his interesting story with the neighbor, school kids, and university, and shopkeepers, and those kind of things. Plus, it's by heart, I can say. Egyptian was no wonder when you are walking downtown, they say, hello. Where do you come from? Come and sit here. They offer you tea and coffee, and sometimes like the water pipe.
I'm not encouraging smoking, but some people like to sit, because I'm against smoking, but some people like to smoke. It's their hobby, and sit in the coffee shop, have a smoke, only tobacco. It's a kind of a socializing in the coffee shop. Unbelievable atmosphere, play backgammon, chess, and it's a kind of also gossip club. Talk about funny stories here and there. So this is another experience, to go to the market and have a deal with the people, bargaining, and sometimes they make a little joke with you about how much money you pay. Come, my friend, I'm your friend, give you this, give you that. Fix the headdress in your head. And it's not only spending money, it is the pleasure, having fun with the shopkeepers, even by the pyramids or by the temples. They know how to attract your eyes. And sometimes they make it funny to say, I have a gift for you. Scarab gives you fertility or eternity or good luck. And then if you don't buy anything, they say, okay, goodbye, my friend. Next time we see you again with more money.
Valley of the Kings is one of the highlights of any visitor to Egypt because it is the house of eternity. They do have their 62 tombs, and including, of course, the unusual one of King Tut, the smallest one. The first time in modern history to mention something about the tombs of the Valley of the Kings, about 1700 AD. Some writers came here and he said he have seen 14 tombs. And after we translated the Rosetta Stone by Champollion, 1800, they started to find more tombs. So now we have 62. Some of them are 100 meters deep, some of them more or less, but all of them representing carving inside, wonderful painting, representing the tribe of the underworld. The tombs were sealed after the death of the king because they don't want to have any robber to come to the tomb. Unfortunately, the tomb robbers came in and we lost lots of treasures. But thanks God, we have the treasures of Egyptian Museum of King Tut. Give us an idea. If King Tut ruled for 9 years, he has only 5,000 pieces left. What about King Ramses or Seti or other pharaohs lived longer? Must be bigger than this collection. About 1500 years BC, the pharaohs built their temples and their tombs in this area. So by all means, it's a funeral section because they lived in the East Bank for life and houses and palaces and the temples of Karnak and Luxor. And here they designed the tombs and the temples. So for example, here ahead of us, there is unusual shape of a temple, the temple of the Queen Hatshepsut. The architect, his name is Senmut, when he designed the temple, he designed, as you can tell, something very different from all other temples. It's the only kind in Egypt with a temple, 3 terraces, one on top of each other. And the temple is called in Arabic Deir el-Bahari, means monastery in the north, because it was used as a monastery at the Christian time. It's a very interesting background. Up on the top, the mountain looks like a pyramid shape, and this is the background of also the Valley of the Kings. Tombs up there for the nobility and workers and architects. This area, there were tombs and temples. Each king must have a tomb at that time in the valley and must have a temple. We call the temple funerary temple or mortuary temple. So this is one of a kind.
notice when we are in Luxor, the Nile is a very important part. Thousands of years ago, one famous writer, Herodotus, he says, Egypt is the gift of the Nile. This is true. We use the Nile now for many activities, especially Nile cruises going between Luxor and Aswan. 15 years ago, there were almost 20 ships. Nowadays, there are almost 300. Without the Nile, Egypt would have been a great desert. We can add another word to it to say Egypt is the gift of the Nile and the gift of the Egyptians to create such an everlasting, eternal civilization for thousands of years.